All right. Hi, everybody. I'm weather and radar meteorologist Becca Parker. We are live on YouTube today to go over the dangerous severe weather outbreak that is expected today across the Mississippi Valley. Let's see. We're going to get started right now. If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up on the comments. That would be great. Hi, everybody. I'm weather and radar meteorologist Becca Parker. We are live on YouTube today to go over the dangerous severe weather outbreak that is expected today across the Mississippi Valley. On the screen right now is the weather radar. We're going to get started. And in the description below, we have give me a thumbs up on the comments. This tool right here for
Hi, everybody. I'm weather and radar meteorologist Becca Parker. We are live on YouTube today to go over the dangerous severe weather outbreak that is expected
for just a regular
today
forecast.
across the Mississippi Valley.
The weather radar
right now is the weather radar.
We're going to get started.
And in the description below, we have give me a thumbs up on the comments.
Right here.
Hi, everybody. I'm weather and radar meteorologist Becca Parker. We are live on YouTube today to go over the dangerous severe weather outbreak that is expected today across the Mississippi Valley.
The weather radar right now. And we are taking your questions throughout this live today.
And in the description below, we have give me a thumbs up on the comments. Hi, everybody. I'm weather and radar meteorologist Becca Parker. We are live on YouTube today to go over the dangerous severe weather outbreak that is expected today across the Mississippi
Thank you all so much for
Valley.
joining. Again, we are taking your questions throughout this live today.
And in the description below, we have all the thumbs up
on our live blog on our app as well.
Hi, everybody. I'm weather and radar meteorologist Becca Parker. We are live on YouTube today to go over the dangerous severe weather outbreak that is expected today across the Mississippi
Thank you all so
Valley.
much for joining. Again, we
We
are
are
taking your questions throughout this live today.
and in the description below.
So right now, what you are looking at is on our weather radar app as well. This is the radar that shows lightning, wind, rain, afternoon, cloud cover across the left and global. So what we are seeing right now is the look at the weather radar. So right now, what you are seeing is on our weather radar app as well. So what we're going to be looking at today is located cloud cover that is here left and cursor along the Mississippi River Valley. The Mississippi storms already have been up with this system atmosphere at the moment, so we are getting to that time today weather pop up as the afternoon heating really helps prime the atmosphere. And we've already been seeing that today. Let's take a look at the temperature radar, also here on your app if you want to follow along. Temperature radar does show what the current temperatures are and what the forecast will be up to 4 days from now. So we've been seeing this heating come into the central U.S. and southeastern U.S. much of this morning as a low pressure trough has been digging down into the western portions of the U.S. here. And on the other side here, if you think of a balanced scale, it's pushed down on one side, the other side's about to come up, right? That's what's happening here with the atmosphere, is we have a low pressure trough across the western U.S. On the eastern U.S., we have a high pressure ridge. And what that does is when you have a low pressure trough right over here across the west, you see warm, water-laden air coming up from the south, warming and priming the atmosphere across this area here. We'll often see that, especially throughout the springtime. We'll see these big differences in temperatures as the season is changing. So that's what's really fueling on the upper, larger scale of things, really fueling this severe weather event, and why we're seeing these warmer temperatures across the Mississippi Valley here, and much warmer than average for that time of year, right? Out there feeling it. No need for a jacket or anything today across that area, but we are getting ready to go through things on the upper, larger scale. I also want to show you how that is also being influenced with the wind. We're going to go to the wind radar here. You see all of these winds, the white streamlines right here show the current direction of the wind. And we are seeing these winds come right up out of the Gulf, really gusty winds as we're getting into on land here out of the Gulf. Warm, water-laden air is being brought up by those wind radars here, streaming straight into the Mississippi Valley, also helping to prime that air. The other part we're going to take a look at as well is really what our main player is for today for the severe weather, is the low pressure at the surface that is going to be causing all of these disturbances for today. So if we zoom in here, this is northern Iowa. You see this area where there are no winds in the middle, but then a counterclockwise circulation here across Iowa. This is where we are seeing that low pressure. And that low pressure does move in a counterclockwise fashion, and at the surface, that's why we see those winds streaming up from the south and priming the atmosphere. pulling all of that air in from the south and pulling it in, and it was what's going to be feeding these storms. And I'm going to get into also what the northern side looks like later today for those of you who are in the upper Midwest and Eastern Dakotas that are seeing the wintry side of this severe weather event as well. So we'll be getting into that as well. So let me go into what we were taking a look at as far as the current risks. And I'm going to get into also what the northern side looks like. We're going to take a look at today for those of you who are in the upper Midwest and Eastern Dakotas that are seeing the wintry side of this severe weather event as well. So we'll be all right. And we do have actually breaking news on this as well. When we started the day, we had a moderate risk across much of this area. That's what you see in the red here from the Storm Prediction Center. As of just a few moments ago, the first high risk for the U.S. that has been seen since March 25th, 2021 has been issued. We haven't seen a high risk in a couple of years. High risk point out a very dangerous situation when it comes to severe weather, and we'll get into what that looks like. So we can see this large area here that is under a severe weather probability for today. Even just general thunderstorms all the way up to the northeast and into the upper Midwest. That's how large the storm system is. High risk. So we're going to see at least some isolated severe storms across from eastern Texas into the Ohio Valley and Lake Michigan up here. That's in the green here. That marginal risk, level 1 out of 5. Really what we want to take a look at, though, is the slight risk, which is the yellow on up into the storm system. Slight risk, the enhanced risk, moderate risk, and the high risk. High risk is as high as you can go for these severe risks. So we really want to pay attention here with what's going on because of this situation. So the risks from these storms, the biggest risk that we're going to take a look at, we do have a tornado risk. Tornadoes are going to be supported by what I talked about earlier. We've got that warm water-laden air that is being brought up from the Gulf, really primed. We also have that low pressure, right? Along the southern flank of that low pressure, we have a cold front as well. Behind that cold front, we have cold, dry air, which will slam into that warm water-laden air mass as well. Those are really different air masses, so that causes a lot of instability. So that warm water-laden air rises quickly, condenses, becomes those big cumulonimbus clouds that we do see, but also very severe due to the ingredients that we have here sitting across the valley. So tornadoes is the first risk. In the high-risk area, we could see tornadoes that are anywhere from EF2 to EF5 strength, long-track tornadoes. What I mean by long-track as well is that we have an environment that can support long-sustaining tornadoes that can be tracked across miles and miles and miles and last a very long time. So we could see EF2 to EF5 strength tornadoes in the areas especially that you see in this view here, across into Illinois and into Iowa and even down here into the western Tennessee Valley and the lower Tennessee Valley into Arkansas. EF2 tornadoes have at least 111-mile-an-hour winds as they run through an area. Now, hopefully in an area where there's nothing around. However, when it comes to this kind of risk, we see more than 2 million people that are living in the area, at least in the pink here, with millions more in the yellow and the red, which is a moderate and slight risk. So when it comes to that, we really want to be paying attention to any severe weather alerts that do come in. Have at least 3 ways to receive a severe weather warning, and don't rely on the local siren either. Hard to hear, and you don't want to have to rely on that, especially if something's coming right that moment. When you receive a tornado warning, look at it, take a deep breath, and really get into that motion of being able to act on that tornado warning. Get to your shelter area, have your emergency plan in mind and in place before tornado watch is even in place, and be sure you know exactly where to go and you can safely get there. Have that emergency plan in the back of your mind as you go through it. That's just the tornado thing. We do have other risks. We have damaging wind risks across this area as well, and a large swath here, especially in the hatched area, which you see these dash marks here all the way up into the Midwest, down into the lower Mississippi and western Tennessee Valley here. We could see damaging winds as high as at least 75 miles per hour straight line wind coming from these severe storms. So in addition to tornadoes, we got the damaging winds as well, 75 miles per hour, just these 75 miles per hour winds. On top of that, with these severe storms, we have a great hail threat as well, especially across the Midwest and down here into the lower Mississippi Valley. Hail of at least 2 inches in diameter, that's about an egg size or greater from these storms as well. So now we've got tornadoes, damaging today we do have a slight risk across the lower Mississippi and the Tennessee Valley here in lower Ohio Valley for 2 to 5 inches of rainfall to fall on top of what's already going on. So additionally from those tornadoes, damaging winds, and hail, we want to keep an eye out for flash flooding as this rainfall does come through as well. So be sure to have, again, your 3 ways to receive a severe weather warning, whether it's flooding, tornado, or severe thunderstorm. And be sure to get in an area too where you can stay safe and away from flooding. When you come to a flooded roadway, the water is likely much deeper than it may appear. So be sure to turn around, don't drown, and get to an area that's safe and higher ground as well. So be sure to have, I want to get into too a little bit of what the meteorology looks like and why this storm system is so strong. So let me get up into the storm prediction center.
The water is likely much deeper than it may appear.
All right.
Be sure to turn around.
Earlier, I had talked about that low pressure trough that we are seeing across the western U.S. This is what it looks like at the upper levels, which is at 500 millibars high in the atmosphere. Now, this may look messy, but let me explain. Low pressure trough is a dip across the western U.S. That's what you're seeing right here. If you follow my cursor, this dip right here. What that allows for is for colder air to come down into this area of the western U.S. And you see over here we have the exact opposite. Remember the balance that I talked about earlier. We see this push, the cold air here, we're going to get warm air coming up across the eastern half of the U.S. So we have all of these wind barbs here, and if you follow the wind barbs, you have an arrow. The barbs on the back end here are like the end of an arrow. So the winds are coming out of the south, and they are pushing up into the eastern west. That southern warm water-laden air is what's being pushed into the Mississippi down into the eastern U.S. So the bigger the difference between the low pressure trough, which we see digging across here, and the high pressure ridge, we see such a difference in the atmosphere. And the whole point of what Earth is trying to do is balance out. So we see these extremes that are coming across here, and that's why we're seeing such a high severe weather threat today, because it's trying to balance out. All right, and I want to talk about too all of that moisture that's coming out of the Gulf. This shows right here. This is 850 millibars. It's just a little bit higher in the atmosphere from the surface. So we do have those wind barbs showing that southerly flow right out of here, out of the Gulf of Mexico. There's that low pressure that we are watching, as that is really going to be the big trigger for these severe storms. And you see these green lines right here. These depict the dew points, so the moisture that's coming out of here. So we have all that moisture being brought out of the Gulf, and the Gulf is a very warm body of water out of the south. So all of this moisture is being brought straight into that low pressure here, feeding those storm systems. What really needs to be helped with this storm is it wants warm, water-laden air, and that's feeding it directly out of here.
We have all that moisture being brought out of the Gulf.
I'm going to double check for any questions here.
Water out of the south. So all of this moisture is being brought straight into that low pressure here, feeding those storm systems. What really needs to be
all right. I'm hearing that. Audio is bad. Okay, let me try.
Water-laden air, and that's feeding it directly out of here. We have all that moisture being brought out of the Gulf.
I'm going to double check for any questions here.
Water out of the south. So all of this moisture is being brought straight into that low pressure.
All right.
Feeding those storm systems.
Everyone can hear me?
What really needs to be
Give me a thumbs up. I'm seeing that there were some issues with
audio is bad. Okay,
let me try.
Water-laden air, and that's feeding it directly out of here. We have all that moisture being brought out of the Gulf.
I'm going to double check for any questions here.
Water out of the south. So all of this moisture is being brought straight into that low pressure.
All right.
Feeding those storm
Everyone can hear me?
What really needs to be
Give me a thumbs up. I'm seeing that there were some issues with
audio is bad. Okay, let me
all
try.
right. Audio sound better? Thumbs up. Alrighty. I'm going to continue. I'm seeing here that there's no more issues with audio, so I'm just going to continue on with what we're talking about here. Alrighty. Double check for any questions too. All right, we do have a question about Columbus, Indiana. Indiana right now is in a moderate risk. Let me bring that up. So we do see a moderate to an enhanced risk across Indiana too. So you have the chance for tornadoes as well, damaging winds and hail. So be sure to keep an eye on the weather radar today as you're going about your day. And I'll talk about timing here in a moment. Okay, perfect.
All right, I'm hearing that audio is good. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for letting me know. Okay, let's get into timing for today and what that's going to look like for the severe weather. If there was anything that I did go over while the audio was bad and you need me to redo that, please let me know in the comments. I'm so happy to go over the rest of the information too as we're going about this, right? This is all to make sure that you guys have all the latest information. Okay. Awesome. All right, so we're back at the weather radar. We're going to take a look at what this is going to look like throughout the day. So you can see this right on your app if you want to follow along. This is what it looks like about 2 o'clock Central Time. And we see the line of storms is getting started across the Mississippi Valley here. And we're going to see that continue through the afternoon. We'll have storms starting to pop up across this area too. This area across the upper Midwest here into Iowa, northwest Illinois, into southwest Wisconsin, we are going to be seeing that high risk for severe storms. And we can see storms starting to form here around 3 o'clock this afternoon Central Time. The lightning is depicted by these yellow dots here, so you can keep an eye on that as you're going about your day too. And so 3 o'clock in Central Time, we're starting to get into, it's Friday afternoon, people want to get their weekend started. So we're starting to get into time for traffic and for that rush hour, right? This is a great time to take a look at the weather radar before you do head out the door and make sure you have those 3 ways to receive a severe weather warning, because this time right here is you don't want to be stuck on the road as you are in a severe storm, especially with an area that has a high risk for those really bad severe storms plus tornadoes. Give yourself some extra time if you can this afternoon and check the weather radar before you do proceed with your evening commute, because that's going to be something that is going to be very important. You don't want to be caught in traffic when something like that does happen. Alrighty. And then we'll get down here too. We had a high risk down here as well into the western Tennessee Valley. So we see those storms coming in here too. This is about 4 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock, getting close to dinner time here as well. And we see these storms still up here coming in across the Midwest as well, the second line. So we're going to be watching these all the way through the evening hours. Now, the thing about getting into the evening hours, especially across here too, is after sunset, the additional threat of having tornadoes when it's dark is that you can't see them. So that's where it comes in, where you want to have those 3 ways to receive a severe weather warning, because at least 3 ways, right? You want to have multiple ways to receive that, because if you can't see the tornado, it's going to make it very difficult to get that information if you're looking for it. So that's going to be important too. And you'll want to keep an eye on the weather radar all throughout the evening, because we have it so that you can look at up to 15 minutes in advance. Look at every 15 minutes to see that radar as it goes across, even 5 minutes if you get into the closer zooming areas on the map. You can look at it in the last 5 minutes just to see that track so that you know exactly what's going on in your area. All right. I'm going to double check for more questions just in case. We're going through a lot of information today, so be sure to let me know any questions you have, and it's likely someone else has the exact same question. All right. Let's get into the winter side of the system. You already see the pink up here. So we have some wintry weather that is coming with this system today that's already taking place across the Dakotas and upper Midwest. Right now, what we are seeing is a lot of snowfall across the Dakotas, even in here into western Nebraska, and even some snowfall up here into the upper Midwest on the upper ends of this storm system. So this low pressure is a very strong low pressure system. You can even see the circulation of it happening here with the satellite view. These are the clouds, and this is no clouds. So we already see that circulation happening across this area. So this area is going to be receiving blizzard conditions, and they have a blizzard warning this afternoon through tomorrow morning across the eastern parts of the Dakotas into the western parts of Minnesota here. So winds up to 55 miles per hour plus snow is going to cause for some really dangerous driving conditions, especially because, again, we got 4 p.m. So that if we got the blizzard warning starting at 4 p.m. this afternoon especially, that's your driving time as well. So take some extra time. Try not to be out on the roads when that's happening. Visibility can come down to almost 0 when we have these blizzard conditions. It can make travel very treacherous. In addition to those blizzard warnings, we are seeing winter storm warnings spread across here as well. And let me show what that looks like too. So you can see the map is painted when I bring this up. Okay. What we're seeing right up here in the upper Midwest area are those blizzard warnings in the red, and in the pink we've got the winter storm warnings, and then winter weather advisories in the purple. That spreads all the way across up into the northern areas of the U.S. and the Dakotas, and then the upper Midwest. So in addition to those blizzard warnings, we are seeing snow amounts up to 9 inches in some areas, with locally higher amounts across this area as the storm does move through. So we've got such a large difference in weather that's happening across such a small area when you really think about it. When we have, just here into the Midwest, we have all these severe storms happening, temperatures too, in the 70s and 60s across Iowa, and just 200 miles away in Sioux Falls in the 30s, almost at the freezing point. So very different air mass just to the northwest thanks to this large system. So we're seeing some very different weather across the area, which is common for spring, right? We got these seasonal changes that are happening, so we're still going to see that wintry weather, and we're still going to see that spring-like very warm weather as well, causing the severe weather. So those big differences is really what causes these large severe weather outbreaks as well. Alrighty, and then one other item I do want to address from this large storm system that is affecting a large swath of the U.S. is the winds. So we talked earlier about how the winds are affecting and bringing all that warm water-laden air across the Mississippi Valley. But I want to talk about, too, what that's going to look like over the next day or so for even the eastern U.S., all the way over into the mid-Atlantic, into the Carolinas. So we see, just from this one storm system alone, we've got gusts just right now at 40 miles an hour across Oklahoma City, 45 in Lubbock, Texas, getting into the red zone here across the Rockies thanks to the storm system, where gusts could get up into the 70 and 80 mile an hour range as they're going across the peaks up here. Thanks to this one large storm system, it's all connected. As we go about the next day or so, we're going to see these winds really spread into the east, and we're going to see gusts getting up to 50 miles an hour in Kansas City this afternoon, coming with those storms. And by this evening and overnight, we're going to see those winds really move into the Great Lakes, get into the Appalachians here, and move towards the northeast, where we already have wind advisories, high wind warnings, and high wind watches. So many are involved, even just with this one large storm system. Maybe not getting severe weather, but definitely the winds from this large system. So a lot to keep an eye on for the next day or so from just this one system. All right. So like I said earlier, we're going to be updating our live blog throughout the day on the Weather and Radar app. Again, it's free to download, and make sure if you do already have it, make sure you do have the latest updates so we can get all those different items to you, that what we have all the latest products that are out on the app, so we can get all the latest information for you for the forecast, not just for today, especially with this large storm system as I'm showing here, but also for future forecasts and for anything that you would need, whether it's skiing, whether it's for the winds, severe weather alerts, things like that. We do have severe weather alerts that do go out for your area up to 36 hours in advance. You can see that right on your app so that you know and can be prepared for these storm systems that do come through, especially as we get into more of the spring season and when severe weather is going to be a lot more widespread as we go further into the warmer season across the U.S. All right, last chance for questions. If anybody has any, even later on, I will be checking the comments here throughout the day so that you can get all the latest information and we can get those to you. I'm going to double check too here to see and take a look at the Storm Prediction Center. We're probably going to be seeing some watches come out later this afternoon. Actually, we do now. We do have a tornado watch out right now across a lot of the Midwest here. So let me bring that up really quick just so you can see that example. We are starting to get storms really firing up across the area. All right, there's our first tornado watch of the day. We're likely going to be seeing these throughout the day. For this area that is already under the tornado watch, you already have your emergency plan in place, and make sure you are close to your shelter location if you're not already at it. Make sure you have several walls in between you and the outdoors when you go to your shelter location when you are under a tornado warning. What a tornado watch is, it means all the ingredients are there, like we just showed a little while ago on the maps earlier. All the ingredients are there for a tornado to form. A tornado warning means one has been spotted and it's in your area. So while we have a watch out, great time to finalize any last minute plans. Maybe get home so that you know exactly where you can be for your shelter location if you do have that opportunity, and just have those 3 ways to receive your severe weather warning. So it's already starting. We're going to want to keep an eye on this throughout the day, which we will be doing on the app, so be sure to stay up to date with that. And yeah, that is the large storm system that is happening right now. Thank you all so much for joining me. I'm weather and radar meteorologist Becca Parker. We are going to be updating again, like I said earlier, everything on the app, so you'll have all the latest information. Thank you so much.